It's going to be a very, very intense journey.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 165 of the Frameskip podcast. I am Andie Eller, and I am joined, as always, by the two amigos. One is missing, but we've got two amigos here. George from Shortbox Summary. What's going on, George?
I released an episode of Shortbox last week. It finally happened. I did it.
I got that Spotify notification, and I was like, oh my god.
It lives.
What was it on?
I did a 20-minute solo off the dome review of every current DC book that's coming out right now. And then I go into a half-hour, 40-minute discussion with this artist named Kevin Newburn talking about his pull list. So the way Shortbox is going to happen for the next few weeks, I'm going to give my spiel on like a certain publisher. This week is going to be Image Comics and everything I'm reading from them. And everything I'm not reading from them. So like all the the G.I. Joe, the Transformer books, which are spoilers fucking excellent. And the Geiger universe of the Ghost Machine imprint from Image as well. So I'm excited to talk about that. And then my buddy J.A. from the Last Comic Shop podcast, he came on to talk about his pull list. So I'm doing that for the next few weeks as I get actual episodes ready and in the can to start to do a weekly podcast. We're proof of how hard that is to do a weekly podcast.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. I am really proud that like Austin, you're always game to. It's just like a literal scheduling conflict is like the issue.
Yeah.
Whereas like we just don't have the time to. I know you want to record it. Coach, I know you want to record it. It's a scheduling thing when you're not here. I know I want to do it. It's a scheduling thing when I'm not here. It's literally just like adult life getting in the way. With Shortbox Summary, it's like it's me. And like I have to schedule guests, and man, some guests are just like, yeah, I want to do it, but I just can't. And I'm like, okay, but like you said you would. So now I feel kind of boned for this episode. So I'm going to go to someone else. Like, no, but I want to talk about it. I'm like, you're kind like this is kind of like your window because like you booked it, and then now you're negging on your booking. So I'm trying to get to a point where I'm not relying on other people, but that means it's all on me. And man, that sucks. It's
a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of time to talk.
I hate it here so bad. Yeah.
We're also joined by the coach, Kyle Newman. Coach, how are you?
I'm doing okay, man. One day at a time, doing good.
Very good. Is that 5 on your hat? I mean, you're 5 out of 5, right?
The Mach 5 speed racer. No, it's Kyle Larson. NASCAR.
Nice.
Guy.
Very good.
Yeah. Yes. So I stopped watching NASCAR for like 10 years or something like that, right? As soon as even longer, maybe as soon as Junior and Tony Stewart retired, there's just no reason to watch it anymore. And so this year I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna get into both open wheel and stock car. But what I really been getting into is the dirt track stuff. That's where everyone's going, man. So the World of Outlaws, stuff like that. And I found out that probably about 20 minutes away up in New Mexico, we have one. And the tour, the World of Outlaws tour, does stop there. So
nice.
Good times ahead.
Yeah.
So it's World of Outlaws is basically Mario Kart. That's all it is.
Who doesn't love Mario Kart? That's great.
Right. That's topical for this episode where we're going to be talking about the Nintendo Switch. But I just wanted to say, I used to watch. When I was younger, I watched NASCAR quite a bit, but you're right. Like I really haven't watched, I'd say the past maybe 10 years, like 8 to 10 years, something in that time frame. But when I was younger, like teenager and younger, it was definitely a weekend watch in our household. So,
it's funny. Yeah. Growing up, it was my dad and my brother would watch NASCAR. Right.
Yeah.
And I was more open wheeled back in the day, like Indianapolis 500, all of them.
Yeah.
Always like just
sure.
Glued to the TV. That was our thing. And being in the West Coast, it started like 9 or 10 o'clock, Yep. So, but yeah, good times.
You mentioned Tony Stewart. That is a name I have not thought about in literal decades. Yeah.
Yeah. Those are the days, man. I was always a Jimmy Johnson fan, and it wasn't even when he started winning. It was because my uncle worked at Lowe's, and when Mike Skinner was in the Lowe's car back in, I don't even think it was the 48. I forget what number it was, but back in like the late 90s, my uncle would always bring me home these little like die-cast Lowe's, NASCAR cars. And like I said, it was Mike Skinner at that time, and I just always followed the Lowe's car because it was Lowe's, and became Jimmy Johnson at one point. So
Yeah.
followed him throughout the years, and once he retired, that's when I really, really stopped watching. But
He's raced twice this year.
I know, I saw that.
Yeah.
So
The Daytona and then the 600 they just did,
Yeah.
and the last weekend of May. So
right. Well, guys, it's been a few weeks. Seth is not with us. I'm sure he'll be around for some pod in the near future, but for now he is racing around a NASCAR track. He is actually become a NASCAR driver, and so that's why he's not here tonight. But we are here. We're not as lucky as he is. So, Coach, what have you been up to these past few weeks? Anything you've been playing, watching, reading, anything at all that you want to talk about?
So I've put in about 25 hours. I think it's 25 hours of Mario Kart 8. Once I realized I was probably going to get the Switch 2, I'm like, well, let me get back into Mario Kart because I got to, defend my Rainbow Road, the one win I've ever had. But
Yeah.
then I started deep diving in Mario Kart World, and man, I think it's gonna hit hard. I think it's gonna do super well. We still don't know a lot about it. We don't know about this open world, like what benefits we get when we just cruise around. But the what's the mode where it's basically like Fortnite,
Knockout.
yes, knockout tour.
Battle or knockout tour.
Knockout
That's
tour.
what it is. Yeah.
Man, I'm going to put a lot of time in that one, man.
Dude,
yeah.
I cannot wait for that mode. That's probably the one I'm most excited for. And like I played a lot of F-Zero 99 when that came out, and it was a little too hectic for me. So I think this is going to be a good balance of that, though. Like it's going to be a good, 24 or whatever it is racers compared to 99. It's the same concept. So yeah, man, I can't wait for that mode.
When I get knocked out in that shit, you're gonna hear swears you've never knew existed. It's gonna be incredible.
Yeah. So, and I'm trying, and I was thinking, I'm like, they could have done something like that with starting with 12, right? On Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
Yeah.
Not 24, but so it's crazy to think that they never developed that into Mario Kart 8, but we're going to be getting that. And what I've also been doing is going down that rabbit hole of Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, Pokemon ROM hacks. Like just doing a lot of research and watching a lot of reviews. And it's amazing how much time people will put in to it's like it could be a remaster, or they'll put like for platinum, they'll put gens 1 through, I don't know, up to the last gen, right? Of all the Pokemon in there. So I'm like, holy hell, this is where, if this is the height of Pokemon was like that towards the end of the Game Boy Advance with so it was Emerald, and then what were the other two?
Ruby and Sapphire?
Yeah, Ruby and Sapphire. Yeah. If that was, I don't think it was the height of, I don't know, but that was such a good time, I guess, for Pokemon. And that's why there's so many ROM hacks that are, that they're built. So I finally figured out how to kind of update the Ambernick, and so I just been putting those on there. So eventually, whenever I finish X, then I'll probably hit Emerald and spend a couple years just doing Emerald and the different ROM hacks, a couple ROM hacks. So.
There are some really, really incredible ones. And like there's so many blogs, like there's entire like the way we think about gaming coverage, like there's people who literally just talk about the ROM hacks. And like there was a point during like the pandemic where I would just see them like listed on Facebook. And like everyone was shipping. There was no like in stores, especially for Facebook, but there's no like go pick up. So I just started buying them like on GBA carts, and like I had my GameCube with my GBA player, and I would just like sit there and play ROM hacks on my TV. Like it was awesome.
So there's this one, it's Emerald, but using Crystal's engine basically. So it's kind of like halfway. It's not that Game Boy Color. It's like in between the Game Boy Color and Game Boy Advance.
Right.
It looks so clean, and everyone loves that one. I forget the name of it, but yeah. So I'll be talking about those here quite a bit. So I'll be having fun, and they do quality of life.
Here's some I bought. Sorry, I got green version, which is like a hack of like the original red, green, blue.
So where did you buy that?
Eruption version. Like this is like through Facebook Marketplace, and then eBay actually sells a bunch of these. And like they just do so many like reproduction carts. It's like here, like it just comes on like an actual GBA cart that you can just play on a GBA or
how much did you pay for that?
$30 maybe.
Okay.
$25.
And you know what? For the person that did that, good for them. Yeah. Because they should get some money for what they did, right? That's awesome. And I'm all about that. Who needs fucking AAA gaming?
Well, honestly, like, yeah, kind of. I'm trying to figure out, I think this is like a discussion we've had before where it's like, were the games better then? Or did you just like gaming more? And like more, like it's probably both. I think the answer is probably both. So like any GBA Pokemon game, I'm like, yeah, that feels right to me. Compared to the modern day shit.
And some of the ROM hacks, like they'll have experience share, so they'll have the qualities of life that the newer games have, But it's a whole different world, man. Like there are a ton of games, and all you got to type in is best Game Boy Color or Pokemon ROM hacks, and then boom, top 10, and you just go through and just watch them and be like, okay, I like that one. You
know what my favorite ROM hack is? The Seth's Lake House ROM hack. It lets you go through and one hit kill every Pokemon. You just light them up with your fists.
That's right, dude. Hitmonchan.
Yep. What's up, brother?
Not much. Just had a horrible, hellacious day at work. Just got home. Took a shower. So
I know.
See what you're up to.
Yeah, we were saying before you got on the pod, Seth, that you had started as a NASCAR driver. And that's why you weren't here. So I hope it was a good race today.
Is there like a big NASCAR race going on right now? Like
you're
Poconos.
I mean, you would know. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That was a test.
So, real quick, before we move on, I was going to ask you about this, but there's this popular dirt track in Pennsylvania. I don't know if it's outside of Philly or what, but I was watching this documentary, and it doesn't matter who it is, but if you're coming from out of town and you're racing, they're the same as Philadelphia Eagle fans. They're rude, they're obnoxious, and I was all there for it. I'm like, yeah, that's Philly fans right there, man.
Dude, Philadelphia is the worst part of Pennsylvania. I wish we could sever Philadelphia and give it to another state.
Honestly, like
it's terrible.
It feels so New York, Connecticut coded.
Dude,
and like I haven't spent a lot of time in Pennsylvania. It feels so different than the rest of Pennsylvania.
The second you cross in the city borders, it's a giant shithole. Pedro lived in Philadelphia for years, and I tell him this all the time. Like, you are completely blind to this. The second you cross into the Philadelphia, it's a giant shithole, and it's kind of depressing actually, because you're like, this is once one of America's like greatest cities, and it's just a gigantic stinking pile of dog shit.
Like 200 fucking years ago. Who cares?
Yeah. Exactly.
So
Let's
Seth,
get
how are
rid of
you?
Philadelphia, dude. I'm terrible. I had the worst day. I'm just trying to vibe now. Just trying to decompress.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
Did we ever talk about your interview? How it went?
Oh, my interviews went great. I didn't get the job though. I wasn't gonna
Oh.
take it anyway. So like, I started talking to the other people in the other positions and realizing that like I made more money than them. And then I'm like, nah, I'm good.
Not worth
And
it.
it was gonna be 5. It was gonna be 5 days a week. Caitlin got promoted though. Also, coach, is that a
Nice.
level 5 hat?
No. Well,
No, I see the 5. Is it a level 5 hat?
no. It's Kyle Larson, NASCAR driver.
Oh.
That's how we got on the NASCAR thing. Was I asked him? Yeah,
Well, that and
Um,
your second act as a NASCAR
That's
driver.
true.
Seth,
Yeah.
is how
You
we
guys,
got on that.
you guys want to know a true fun fact about Seth Slakehouse though? Is that you might not remember. We're going back more than a decade, probably 13 years. I had a girlfriend. She was a redhead. Her uncle was an NASCAR driver.
wow.
Really?
Yes. That's
Did
just
you
a
ever
little-
go in the pits?
No, he was retired by the time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Boo.
So
Her
he
parents were,
probably
like, really
raced
old.
against old Earnhardt.
Maybe. I don't know. I know they talked about how her dad lended him a bunch of money and never got paid back. And because I guess NASCAR is like a crazy amount of money you have to actually put in yourself to the cars and stuff. As far as like the famous track, I know there's a bunch of dirt tracks around here, coach. There's one right next to where I used to live.
Nice.
Yeah, really real nice, dude. Big fan.
George, I'm going to go to you. Okay. So what have you been playing? What have you been doing?
Nothing really. I'll be honest. I played Jedi Power Battles, the remake of that
Oh.
Star Wars game. That game fucking sucks.
I can understand why you're not playing anything after playing that.
Yeah,
Really hard.
5 hour platinum. It's just notoriously unfun. Reading the reviews, I was just like, oh man, I love this game so much as a kid. It's like you were a fucking dumb kid if you thought that was a good game. Like I don't know what else to say.
Game sucks.
Game is absolute dog shit. I can't believe I paid like $19 for it. I bought a platinum for $20 basically is what I did.
Yeah.
And so that kind of ruined my weekend because it was so bad that I refused to do anything until I finished it. And then I did, and then I just deleted it. Maybe the hardest I've ever deleted a game off my hard drive, at least since Far Cry 6. And I'm playing this other co-op game. There's this normally super fun series of co-op games called We Were Here, where it's like it's basically an escape room with 2 players, and like you're supposed to just like match with randos, and like one of the only buttons you can press besides like an interact button is like a walkie-talkie button. And you're supposed to talk through that. We didn't do that. It was my friend Colin. We just played on the phone, and we were stuck on this one puzzle for like 3 years. Now we went back to it once every 6 months, being like, "Can we do it now? Can we do it now?" And then finally Sunday night, I got back from Mission Impossible: Final Reckoning, and I had a few beverages at the movie, and we just said fuck it, and we just went for it, and we got through the hard part of the game. And so I'm hoping tonight to get through that to platinum it again. Unfortunately, Colin is the guy I'm in the platinum war with, so a game like this where we both get it doesn't
ridiculous.
matter at all. Yeah, no,
That's ridiculous.
It's completely like we both get one. But just playing like dumb bullshit games. I keep alternating between dumb old classic games. I'm like, oh, Medieval on PlayStation 1, that remake. Like that's like a 8-hour platinum. I should just play that. And then I'm like, it's 2025, dude. Why the fuck are you playing this 30-year-old game that you literally played at like the PlayStation 1 demo kiosk at Walmart back in 1999? So I'm having like a weird like internal crisis every time I turn on my PlayStation between the things I want to do and the things I feel like I should do. And I'm not happy, and we're all gonna die someday. So like that's basically where I'm at.
Yeah. That's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's so true.
Andor's good though.
I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah. It's a perfect trilogy. Perfect trilogy.
Yeah, it's good shit.
Yep.
Seth, what have you been up to?
Well, I played through and beat Final Fantasy VI for the first time
Ooh.
ever. Yep. thought that was going to be a life-changing experience. Really hated the second half of the game.
Really?
Yeah, I despised the second. Dude, I was having a blast up until the halfway point. And in the second half of the game, and I'm clearly in the minority of this. This is one of the greatest RPGs of all time. But I really truly despised the way the second half of the game is set up. And also I have a lot of issues with the way the game is structured. And as far as I can tell, it is the only Final Fantasy game in the whole history of the franchise where there is only one stat that matters, which is magic, which really bothers me. Like even the physical characters use magic for their abilities in Final Fantasy VI. So there is no, and the way you get ability boosts when you level up is by equipping these different espers, and they'll give you like the different stats when you level up. So there's no incentive whatsoever to level up your HP or your MP or your stamina or your speed. Only focus on magic. That's the only thing that matters in the entire game. So that's kind of boring.
Wow.
But also the second half of the game takes a dramatic narrative twist, and it's very like open-ended. And if I didn't have a guide, I probably would have put it down. But I looked up a guide and saw where to go from point A to point B, because the game does not tell you in any way. I mean, there's like you talk to people and like, oh, we heard a rumor that there's something going on here, but that's pretty much it. Yeah, really hated the second half of the game. Thought the first half was like phenomenal. So I beat that. Started playing Fantasy Life. With Caitlin, me and her having a pretty good time playing that. And I started playing Final Fantasy IV immediately after I beat Final Fantasy VI. So that's what I've been up to lately. Big dog.
I saw that on Steam. You're playing. I didn't realize, because you and I had commented on something I think that Pedro posted the other day. Is the PSP remake of 4? Is that what you're playing on Steam? Is that what's released on Steam?
No, the PSP remake of 4 you can only get through the PSP emulation.
So what is the Steam version of 4 that's on there? Because it's also like a 3D thing, right?
There's the 3D remake that came out on Nintendo DS, and then there is the Pixel remaster of Final Fantasy IV. The thing is, though, is that if you talk to big Final Fantasy IV fans, the PSP version is generally the one that's recommended because it's considered the complete version, and also it's like it's a whole remake. It's a whole 2D remake. They did all the sprite work and everything. It's crazy. It looks gorgeous. I did emulate it for a little bit on my Steam Deck. I wasn't happy with the hassle. I just kind of wanted to play the 3D remake, so that's what I settled on eventually.
Well, nice. Yeah, eventually I've got to go back to the Pixel remasters. I actually did enjoy 1 when I played it. Like, it was just a chill game. There wasn't a whole lot to it, but I did like it, and I liked the music and the vibes. And 2 I actually was enjoying, even though a lot of people crap on 2 because of the leveling system. I actually was enjoying it. I got about halfway through it, and I just got sidetracked. So, George, you were going to say something?
I was gonna say, 1 is just Dungeons and Dragons. Like, that doesn't really, like, nothing about it feels especially Final Fantasy. It feels like very Western influence. And then 2 is just, it's fucking Star Wars, right?
Yep.
Like, the Iron Dreadnought is just like the Death Star. Like, no, 2 is great. I'm really excited. I'm so close to being done with 2, and then I will jump into 3, and then I will finally get to the shit that Seth told me to play 2 years ago when I got the Pixel remaster. Can't wait.
Really, I tell everybody to start with 4, 5, and 6. That's when the series becomes Final Fantasy. 1, 2, and 3 are just kind of like the very first iteration of RPGs that I think anybody can skip. But Final Fantasy 4 is an all-time great game. Really, I wanted to jump into 9, but I can't do it, dude, because I know there's a remake coming. I can feel it deep in my ball sack.
Yeah, but
there is a Final Fantasy 9 remake coming right around the corner. I know it.
But don't you want to play the original to then play the remake? Like, did you replay 7 before 7 remake came out?
Yeah, but I mean that's a different situation. This is supposed to be like a shot for shot remake, almost like an Unreal Engine 5 like upgrade.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I don't know that we'll really get to it on this pod, but there's a state of play tomorrow, and I need to look into it. But I saw something about like somebody involved with Final Fantasy was sharing some stuff on like Blue Sky or something. I don't exactly know the details, but it was somebody who has like a prominent history with the development of that series. So it kind of implies there could be something announced tomorrow.
Square has been it's Final Fantasy IX's like I don't know, 25th anniversary or something like that.
Yeah.
And they keep tweeting out like new artwork and stuff. They're making new statues for the game. There is a remake coming imminently. It was part of the Nvidia leak. I don't know why they just want to announce it. Just do it.
It's just like that Persona 4 remake where you've got all these voice actors saying they weren't invited back for the remake, which I think is a publicity stunt, by the way. It's a little odd that they're all coming out and saying that simultaneously. But we all know it's coming. We all know they're doing a Persona 4 remake. It's just show it off. So
I looked up was it Screen Rant, and I'm just like the top 10 predictions that they have for tomorrow, and like, man, I'm fucking, if half of these are true, it's gonna be a fucking show-stopping event.
Just for the state of play tomorrow. Yeah, because the actual like Summer Games Fest doesn't start until the weekend, right?
Yeah, I think
Dude.
the Games Fest show is Friday.
Yes, really? Oh, that's right. It's summer.
see, Coach and I had the same reaction. So I realized this. I was listening to Sacred Symbols yesterday, and I was listening to last week's, and they were talking about Summer Games Fest, and I was like, damn, didn't even know it was happening.
Yeah,
Which is so sad. Like compared to 10 years ago, looking back at E3, you always looked forward to it. And now I'm like, I don't even know what events are happening. I don't know when they're happening.
I looked at the event schedule and I'm like, I don't really, there's like 20 events happening over the days. I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna catch up on the announcements.
Yeah.
And maybe I'll turn to it for free.
It's like an IO Interactive event, and I'm like, okay, so that's the Hitman dudes. But like, they're also working on James Bond. I'm like, they're not going to show James Bond at their own event. They're going to partner with like a Microsoft or something to show that off. And then like, I know they're getting into publishing, and aren't they doing Mind's Eye?
They are.
Okay, and so I'm like, all right, so you're going to show off two games at your interactive thing? I don't like. It's one of those. It feels exactly like what happened with streaming services, where like Netflix was fucking awesome. Netflix was so good when everyone was on Netflix, and then NBC was like, "Fuck, they're watching The Office a lot. We got to get some of that action." It's like you actually are getting some of that action by licensing your content to Netflix. That's actually exactly what you're doing. They're like, no. We got to start this new service in 12 years called Peacock. That's going to change everything. And it's like, hey, it's actually really fucking annoying to have all these disparate things. And it's like, man, if only there was like one source of news and information coming about the video game industry, ideally around the same time. Like, Jesus, like, why? Like, we ruined everything for no reason. And now, like, we're all like, man, it was actually better before. It was actually better before everyone just took a big fucking dookie on it.
Yeah.
I'm in a bad mood. Sorry. My diet is killing me. I haven't had a drink in 36 hours. I'm miserable.
I don't disagree with you at all. And I'm sorry, but like when you see these showcases that are like and look, I'm just making up names here, like the cozy indie game showcase. Like, I'm sorry, but what? And there's like 45 of those in a span of 2 weeks, and it's just way too much. So I'll watch the
like
main ones.
You mean like the wholesome direct?
Yeah, I'm sorry, but I'm not. I'm sure there are some great games in there, but no.
I'm like legit fine with that, but it's like it doesn't mean as much. Like if Xbox thinks a game is like from that is special and includes it in their E3, like that's meaningful. But the fact that it's like a whole bunch of, I'm saying soft, I don't mean it like pejoratively, but like a whole bunch of like soft, comfy games are coming. It's like, okay, cool. You're actually just taking all the oxygen out of the room for every other game that's in this. Yeah. So it's like I fail to see the real point of it. And like at this point, like the only one I'm like really looking forward to is like Nintendo. I'm like, they're the only ones who've like fucking punched me in the mouth with like their last 3 directs. So I'm like, all right, they're probably gonna punch me in the mouth again.
Dude, I don't know. That Witcher 4 reveal today slapped me right and tipped my penis.
I only saw like a gif of it on Twitter. I like Witcher 3 was fine.
It had horrible pop-ins. I don't know. It looked really bad.
It wasn't like that was like a gameplay reveal. It wasn't like but that wasn't like the actual. No. Yeah, like you're right. Like that's what I saw in the GIF. But like that wasn't like, oh hey, coming 2026, right? Like I didn't see the whole context.
Yeah, I think it's a PS6 game.
They said it's on. They said that what they showed today was on PS5, base PS5.
Yeah.
Liars.
Yeah, I mean it's.
Guys. Deception.
I mean, look,
Cyberpunk developer.
If they can get Cyberpunk looking as good as it does on PS5, I mean, obviously it took some time to get that game right, but it is a beautiful game. So
yeah, Cyberpunk's nowhere close to what we saw today.
No, it's true.
That shit
That's
we
true.
saw on for Witcher 4, I was like,
Yeah.
what
my
the
well,
fuck?
My 4080
What I
will be
will what I
fine.
will say is
We
that
learned about
they
horses'
switched engines,
muscles.
and it seems like getting things looking really good on Unreal Engine 5 is really easy. It's the fact that Unreal Engine 5 is not stable, and
It's the performance.
anytime I see Unreal Engine 5, I'm like, I don't know, big dog. That's a big iffy move.
Do you think? Did you see that like Unreal like now announced that like they're not going to take any money for any game made with Unreal 5, like up like their first like $1 million, like everyone just gets to keep it. Do you think that's in response to the stability thing, or is that just like they're printing money with Fortnite that they
It's
don't give
gotta
a
be.
fuck about
I
$1
think it's
million?
gotta be in response to the stability thing, dude, because it's such a stigma now. Every game that gets announced for Unreal is having issues. Every single one. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's insane, dude. Like, I messed around with a lot of Unreal 5 games on both console and PC at this point. And like, I knew something was seriously wrong with that engine when Fortnite could not run at a proper frame rate on my computer, which is a nearly $3,000 computer. So,
Also, nearly 3,000-year-old game at this point.
yeah, it's just ridiculous. So I don't know. I hope Unreal 6 or whatever they drop next like fixes those issues, because I mean, obviously graphically, like Unreal Engine 5 games look very good, but performance wise, you had Oblivion recently has like horrendous performance issues, and it's gorgeous, but it does not run well at all. So
Nope. Sure doesn't.
But as for me,
Oblivion.
yeah, I need to go back to it too. I didn't play it a whole lot because I've been so hooked on the game I'm still playing, which is Persona 3 Reload. I've been playing it for almost 2 months, I think. And I just haven't had a ton of time to game. But I'm about 55 hours in. And I think I'm like somewhat approaching the end of the game. I probably have 15 to 20 hours left at least. But I am in November. I think from what I remember, I just looked up like the calendar guide online to see how long it was. I think it ends in January. So I'm not too far off. I'm only 3 months to the end of the game. And I got to something a day or two ago that like shook me to my core. And I don't know how I never got spoiled on this. It's without saying anything else, and you'll know what I'm implying when I say this. It was a death that takes place in the game, and like just incredible. I really like how dark this game is compared to 4 and 5. And 5, frankly, is pretty dark too, but this game is like brutal at points, and I'm loving it. I'm really, really enjoying it. So I don't think I'm going to play The Answer. I think I've decided once I get to the end, I'm not, you can pay like the 15 or 20 bucks or whatever for The Answer, which is the expansion at the end. In the PS2 version of the game of FES, it was just like an add-on that was like an extra 30 hours kind of epilogue type thing. And I've been looking up all these reviews about the remake version of it, and apparently it's just like 30 hours of grinding and 10 minutes of story. So I'm gonna look up a story like plot thing on YouTube and just so be it. But
There's really not a whole lot there.
no. But I'm loving it. Yeah, that's really all I've been playing, to be honest with you. Just focusing on that on my Steam Deck before Switch 2 drops. And I highly doubt I'll beat it within the next 2 days. So I'll certainly keep playing along with Mario Kart when that comes out. But I'm loving it.
Have you been
go ahead.
Have you been keeping up with Tartarus?
Oh, always. I always get
good.
and this is always my strategy with Persona games. Anytime there's a dungeon or whatever it may be, I always do like straight shot in one day. The second it unlocks, I'll just go through and get to the barrier on the first day.
That's always the first thing I tell people, because that's what got me in Persona 3. That's why the ending of that game did not hit me as hard, because I was so exhausted from running through Tartarus.
So I love it though. I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do with the series. I'm curious about 6 because it's been so long since 5, and I do want to play Metaphor at some point. I know it's not a Persona game, but I feel like within the next maybe 6 months, I'm gonna start at Metaphor. So, and then
Did
quickly
you do the crossover, the Fire Emblem Crossover.
What the hell was the name of that game? Tokyo Mirage Sessions?
Yeah.
No. I never even bought it. I don't know if that's a rare game or anything. I need to take a look at that. So I don't know if that's necessarily a great game though. I never remember hearing too many people talk about it.
Well, originally it came out on the Wii U, remember?
Yeah.
So of course it died there just because it was on the Wii U. But I wonder how it did once it got ported to the Switch.
Yeah. That was an early Switch game too. That was like within the first year or two, I think. So, but aside from that, just quickly, the other game Andie and I have been playing, I wanted a new co-op game to play with her, so we started Cult of the Lamb, which is a Devolver Digital published game, and frankly, I didn't really know a whole lot about it, but it's kind of like a base building splash roguelite game mixed together. So it's a little bit of Hades and a little bit of like Stardew, I guess you could say. And it's really, really good. The animations and character designs and story, it's all excellent. So really enjoying playing that together with Andie. But that's really it for me. So I want to get into our main topic here, because this is, if you're living under a rock, I suppose you wouldn't know that this is the final episode here of Frame Skip before the Switch 2 drops, which is on Thursday. And I know most of us are looking forward to it. There's maybe one that's not.
75% of us.
And, I think my tune, I forget if it was last episode of the show, I think my tune has kind of changed since then. I did eventually decide to get one. I just thought, look, if I had already planned to get one this fall, this Christmas for Age of Imprisonment, the new Hyrule Warriors game, and Kirby Air Riders. And so I was like, look, if I'm going to get one in December, it's not really going to make a difference if I get one now or 6 months from now. So I just decided to go on and bite the bullet. So I'm getting one. George, I know you're getting one. And then Coach, you're getting one. So we'll have some feedback on Switch 2 in the coming weeks. Although Coach, it'll take a little longer for him.
2 weeks.
Coach, I'm gonna give you the slowest shipping possible.
Okay, that's fine. It'll probably come the quickest then.
I'm gonna ship it to Japan, and then my buddy over there is gonna ship it to Australia,
Okay.
and then my buddy down there is gonna send it to you.
It's gonna kiss every time zone.
Yeah.
It's gonna be great.
Just have them put like a sticker from each country or something like that.
That'd be cool, man. That would look like Maverick's jacket in Top Gun. That'd be sick.
Well, I'll put it on my on the whatchamacallit, the dock.
Yeah. So
it's traveled far and wide.
All joking aside, though, like I said, we'll definitely have some thoughts on that moving ahead. But I wanted to really focus this episode because this will really be the last episode of Base Switch. I wanted to focus on Base Switch 1, and kind of look back on this generation and what we've liked, what we haven't liked. It's been 8 freaking years, which seems like it's been forever for a console generation. I mean, like, I was thinking back, and we'll just start with my first kind of question here. I wanted to ask you guys, where were you when Switch 1 dropped? And I don't mean like physically, I mean just like in life. So when Switch 1 came out 8 years ago in 2017, I was in my first year of college. I had not even transferred to UGA yet. I had not even met Andie. And so that's where I was. Like, I was living at home. This very different lifestyle.
Jesus Christ.
It just seems forever ago.
It was forever ago.
George, you had like a guttural reaction there. Where were you when Switch 1 released?
I was 27. I was living in San Francisco. I remember hearing rumors about like, yeah, man, the Wii U's over. And like, I was still going to Target every week looking for like good 3DS and Wii U deals because I needed something to justify my purchase of the Wii U. And more importantly, to justify me bringing the Wii U with me to San Francisco from Maine when I moved there for my grad school program. And I remember hearing rumors, and I remember I was an intern at this agency called Cutwater. when like that Switch 2 or sorry, when that Switch trailer dropped. I just remember watching it like 3 times in a row. I'm like, I think this is cool. I think this looks neat. I think this could be a hit. And then most popular video game console the last 10 years, right guys?
Yeah. Do you guys remember, this is like really pulling me back. First off, it was called the NX before Switch was coming out. We were all calling it the NX. But do you remember when everybody was theorizing what this thing would look like, and that guy put together this fake 3D printed version of the quote unquote NX that looked like a PSP? It was like a PSP that was like a little more pointy on the edges. And everyone was convinced this was the Switch, what would become the Switch. And it was not. It was just some guy made this 3D printed little mock-up of whatever he wanted and shared it around online. And that thing went viral for like a week. And he came out eventually and said, "No, guys, this was a joke, and you all fell for it." So different.
You know what my favorite
times.
memory of the Switch launch is the lead up, us recording the podcast, and you and Coach arguing with me that the new Zelda game was not going to be on the Switch, and being wrong.
That's your favorite part?
That's my favorite part.
I don't remember that at all.
I do remember Seth saying the Switch was going to fail.
Well, to be fair, though, we were coming off of like one of the worst like Nintendo failures they'd ever had. So
I had every right in the world to believe the Switch was going to fail.
Yeah. So, Seth, where were you? Do you remember at all? Like, where were you in life when this thing freaking came out?
I had just started at my current place of employment, and I got that Switch to play video games while at work at that place of employment. I was still living with Watson at the time.
Yeah,
that's really. I mean, that's there's not a really interesting story. I have bought and sold 4 Switches. I have really contributed to that number and pumping up those numbers.
You're getting ahead of yourself. You're getting ahead of yourself. That's the next question.
Oh, okay. I remember playing 25 or 30 hours of Breath of the Wild and being like, wow, okay, this is the one, huh? This is the game everyone's talking about.
Yeah. It's a great game.
I played a lot of Skyrim on it. That was fun. And then I sold it.
3 more times.
Yep. I don't really don't have an interesting story with the Switch. I think the game I played most when I first got those my Switch was Breath of the Wild. I think that was the big one, the famous Wii U exclusive.
I didn't buy a Switch at launch. I bought Breath of the Wild on Wii U. Because I'm like, this game has been promised for Wii U for years. I've been expecting it for years. I'm gonna fucking play it on the Wii U.
Oh, thank you.
I liked it. It was nice. You know, it had like a little unfinished quality to it. And I don't mean that like the game looked unfinished. I mean like there was like a painterly aesthetic to it, just because like they were using it to like mass draw distance and whatnot. I'm like, oh, this is really cute. And then I had a buddy actually like bring a Switch to the bar that I used to go to pub trivia for. And I was like watching and I was like, God damn it looks so much better here, man. This sucks.
Coach, what about you, man? Where were you at? Were you deployed or were you home?
No.
Okay.
No, I was at home.
I couldn't remember.
And it was the month before I got my orders to go to Saudi Arabia.
Okay.
So, I mean, we still had to do some training and everything. We didn't leave until like, I believe July-ish, is that somewhere around there? But May was the first time that we all got together as a unit and started prepping. So April is when, that's what I remember. The month after is when I found out I was going to Saudi Arabia. So I started and stopped Breath of the Wild twice because I would go training and there was just no way I was able to play, right?
Yeah.
We'd be some places we'd go to, we wouldn't even have phone service. It's fucking 120 degrees and shit is like, yeah. So you don't feel like doing anything. So it wasn't until I got to Saudi Arabia that I really was able to spend a lot of time in Breath of the Wild. So
Nice. So Seth kind of already hinted at the next thing I want to ask you guys, which is, first off, when did you get your Switch One? Was it, and George, you touched on this, but was it at launch? Was it after? And secondly, how many of these things have you owned? Seth, you said you've had 4. Is that correct?
Yeah, that is correct. I am the number one Nintendo Switch fan. I have bought 4 of them.
And you still play all of them, right?
Yeah, I mean that's like one every other year. I mean, I'm really on a roll with the Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
I have pretty much bought a new Nintendo Switch for every Xenoblade game that came out for it, right? I bought a Nintendo Switch. I bought my first one, and I don't think I played Xenoblade on that one. I think I played Xenoblade on the second one. I bought a new Switch for this, I think, the Xenoblade Chronicles remaster, and then I think I bought a new Switch for Xenoblade 3. And I won't need to sell it anymore because I'm not poor anymore, you know. But that is the situation. That I would just be like, I never played this thing. The only games I ever played significantly on the Switch were Xenoblade. So after I was done with them, I'm like, well, I don't really need this.
I mean, X is out. You got to sell and buy another one.
I'm not an X guy. And the reason for that is because it doesn't connect to the other games. It's stupid. This is a classic, terrible management decision, right? Like, we're going to make all these games connect, and we're going to make one that doesn't.
You think they did that because it came out on the Wii U first, and they thought, surely no one will ever play this?
I think they did that. Well, so like Xenoblade 2 takes great leaps to connect to Xenoblade 1, and I think they did that with the intention that the games were not going to ever connect. But
I see.
Newsflash,
yeah, I guess
now they do.
I
so
guess
now you
X,
got one that doesn't.
Thinking about it, I guess I kind of forgot, but X was the second one because 2 came out after X. So
2 is phenomenal.
So did you get your Switch day one, or was it a later purchase?
Me?
Mm-hmm.
No, it wasn't day one. It was like shortly after that.
Okay. Coach,
I don't even remember where.
how many have you owned?
Too fucking many, man.
How many do you still own?
I got 2.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
One bought on accident.
That's right. You just bought this month.
Yeah. All right. So I bought the first one, right? Day one. The gray one. Then I believe the next one I bought was the Animal Crossing, right? We all had to have the Animal Crossing.
Of course. It was a COVID must-have.
Yep. And then, of course, I got a light.
Caitlin was mad at me because I bought the Animal Crossing one and sold it.
Oh my God.
So then I traded in my light and Animal Crossing to get the OLED, which is what I still have, right? And then yeah, I have the Scarlet and Violet at my son's house right now.
Nice.
So, but I'm
Brand
not
new.
opening that motherfucker up. 10 years from now, it's gonna be money.
George,
It's gonna be money.
Had a launch Switch, or not a launch, I guess like launch year Switch. I bought one because of Mario Odyssey. Like nothing gets me more hype for a Nintendo console than like a 3D Mario game. And so I saw Odyssey. My mom had visited and she left me like $100 as like, you know, just like a mom gift. And I was like, yeah, fuck it, I'll get a Switch for $200. Like that sounds kind of nice. And just took that. I had like just graduated from my graduate program, and I just started like my first job with that, and I had like way more income than I was used to like outside of school. And so I just went, grabbed that, got Mario Odyssey, Mario Kart, and I think Breath of the Wild again. I think I was like, okay, I'll rebuy this game, it'll be fine. And man, I just like beat Mario Odyssey in like 2 days. And that was
Nice.
the only Switch console I owned until 3 months ago, and there was this killer deal on Woot where there was just like not even a refurbished Switch Lite, just like a repackaged Switch Lite where it was originally like a model from Singapore that they then just like replaced the charger in it. So I got like an untouched brand new Switch Lite, and man, that thing is fucking incredible. Like that actually makes me like the Switch so much more because it actually feels like a handheld. I was so excited about the idea of playing Switch in bed. I think that screen is too big. I think the battery sucks. I think it's a little too bulky. I don't actually like the way the buttons on those Joy-Cons feel. I love how rigid and put together the Switch Lite feels. And so that's like, I've just been playing Fire Emblem recently, like in bed, Three Houses, and it feels like a handheld device, which is really nice. But those are the only two that I've owned.
As for me, I bought one at launch. I bought the gray one. I think I pre-ordered it like on Amazon or something and got it day one.
Sorry, when you guys are saying the gray ones, that means like the gray Joy-Cons, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so fucking no. I got the red and blue, man. Fuck that. That one is so much cooler.
I wanted the red and blue, and I think it was sold out, if I remember right, when I did my pre-order. I never had it. That was the one Andie got eventually. But so I got that day one. I held on to it until COVID. And you know, if you remember right, before the OLED, this has kind of been forgotten now, but before the OLED, there was a V2 Switch, which was the one with the bigger battery that had like twice as long of a battery compared to the launch model. And the Animal Crossing one was one of those. So
yeah, but wasn't the real reason behind the V2 is because there was like a non-fixable exploit to hack the Switch?
Probably. I don't know.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
You could use a paper clip and hack the Switch. That's what I did.
That does sound vaguely familiar. I think you're right, but in addition to that, the battery was like considerably longer. So I did get the Animal Crossing one when that came out, day one, right in COVID, start of COVID.
That was such a good Switch. That was a good.
It was. And
the Joy-Cons, man.
Dude, I've brought this up on the podcast before. I'm like mildly ashamed of it, but at the same time, like, look, if some sucker wants to pay this much, I sold my original launch model Switch when I got my Animal Crossing one, but that was right when COVID started and everybody wanted a Switch for Animal Crossing and they were selling out everywhere. So I sold my launch model Switch 3 years after it came out for $480 on eBay.
I also did that. I sold my Switch during COVID. Those were the days, man. Those were the days.
Yeah. So that's what happened to my launch Switch. And then eventually, I guess it would have been 2 years ago now, I bought the Tears of the Kingdom OLED. So I've had three. I've always wanted the Lite though, like just to have. It seems like a nice little system. And like playing Steam Deck recently and just feeling like the lack of Joy-Cons, like how it's just a thing. It's very nice. I don't know. It made me think of the Lite a little bit, like the way it's designed. So,
dude, the OLED is such a massive upgrade, though, from the original Switch. When I play Caitlin's Switch, I'm like, this is disgusting.
Yeah.
Take it away. Give me my OLED.
The original, I don't know, man. I don't think I could ever go back to that thing. We still have, so Andie also got the Animal Crossing V2 when that came out. So we both upgraded both of our Switches. So there was a point where we had four Switches in our household. But yeah, she kept the Animal Crossing one. So it's still boxed away. I sold mine when I got my Tears of the Kingdom one. But I'll have to go back and look at the V1 and just see what it looks like compared to the other.
Did I ever tell you guys about how I was like an Animal Crossing smuggler when the lockdown was happening?
No,
because I was like semi-dating the GameStop girl at the time, and GameStop was like really trying not to close their doors to the point where they got their business license revoked.
I remember.
If you guys remember that, right? So people were like, "Hey, we know that like you're tight with this girl, and she was the manager of GameStop. Can you get us this?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure. Venmo me some money. I'll drop it off at your door." And I was like getting people their copies of Animal Crossing to get drugged together.
Oh my god!
Were you making a profit, or was it literally just cost?
It was just cost. I was just doing it for fun. It's
You're a
just
bad. You'd make a terrible drug dealer. But okay.
well, I also got my buddy 2 copies of Final Fantasy 7 remake. 'Cause I don't know if you guys remember, that also came out exact that time. Remake. I think remake came out the week of the lockdown. Like it was a terrible time. Great time for me. I had a blast playing it, but
a great time for your business as well.
Yeah. Well, it was not a business because I made no money.
Well, I mean, like the toilet paper business,
his nonprofit,
like your actual
in
business.
That way, yeah, I made so much money during COVID. I made so much money. It was great for me. People just bought so much toilet paper.
What a crazy time!
My bonuses were nuts.
Like, I'm sorry, but did the thought ever cross anybody? Just buy a bidet. Just buy a bidet.
You would think at some point.
I'm just saying.
I apparently did not. It was, dude. Our warehouses were full. We were making it way faster than people could buy it. We just couldn't ship it out fast enough. It was crazy.
All right. Well, back on topic here. So games, of course. I think looking back at Switch 1, you know, the library to me is incredible. I think there are just so many games on that system that hold up extremely well. And to me, I mean, it's certainly recency bias, but I think it's got to have one of the best Nintendo lineups of all time when it comes to, especially their first party games, would be my opinion.
I don't even know what it's in competition with. Like, the DS maybe. The GameCube is just like weird games that I might like more, but like this is the most GameCube console Nintendo's done since GameCube, right? Like, and like N64 has like some pretty high highs, but like that's like not a super deep lineup for games. So it's like SNES, DS, maybe.
Yeah,
it's fucking incredible. Like, what a catalog of games on this thing.
No, I mean it's insane. Like I've got, not that I have that many, but I just on the shelf alone back here, I've got like 75 Switch games, and a good bulk of them are first party. I'd say like 70% of them are first party games, and I still don't have everything I want to own. Yeah. I mean, it's really a great lineup. But Seth, you know, I think I already know your answer to this. But what were some of your favorite games? Maybe like top 3 from Switch.
Xenoblade 2.
Xenoblade 3.
Monster Hunter Rise. I don't have
Xenoblade 3.
I hated Xenoblade 3.
What?
I did. You didn't know this? I despised Xenoblade 3. Yeah. Dude, we were talking about it. The characters are in a fantasy setting wearing modern clothes. It bugged me relentlessly.
Is there no...
My healer was wearing like Jordan high tops. It was crazy. And
is there no trails in the... I don't know... trails in the restroom or what? Well, like there's got to be one of those games on the Switch.
Yeah, there's
name one of those.
There's quite a few, but I'm not gonna sully myself by playing it on the Switch. Are you kidding me? I play that bad boy on my PC and my PS5. Get out of here! I'm not playing it on the Switch. Okay. I want to have a neck crank looking like this for 150 hours straight. No, I'm good, dude. Xenoblade 2 and Skyrim.
Carpal tunnel playing it on my fucking PC. It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
like a real man. Yeah.
Coach, top 3 Switch games.
So of course, Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, right? So, and I enjoyed Tears of the Kingdom just a little bit more, right? I love hunting some linos. Mm-hmm. Like once I learned how to fight them and I figured it out, oh, best damn thing.
You like Tears of the Kingdom more than Breath of the Wild?
I do.
That's crazy because I feel like I never hear you talk about Tears of the Kingdom at all, but you talk about Breath of the Wild all the time.
No, definitely Tears of the Kingdom. Yeah.
No.
For sure. And then rounding out the third top, the 3 spot is Tropical Freeze, man.
It's a Wii U game.
Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze.
I don't get like shit. If you don't like his list, you're really not going to like my list.
George, what is your list?
Breath of the Wild, big dog.
Skyward Sword HD.
Metroid Remastered and Final Fantasy Pixel Collection. Now, I mean, it's gonna sound like Mario Odyssey. I think is like one of the best 3D action platformers of all time. And then this is gonna sound so fucking basic, and I'm sorry, but like Smash Brothers Ultimate, which I guess is like a Wii U game, and like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, man, like that is like a perfect fucking video game. Like there's so many other games I enjoyed on my Switch, but like those are the three, man. Like those are like I absolutely I loved Let's Go Pikachu. I thought that was like a great way to revisit one of my favorite things. But like that doesn't hold a candle to Mario Kart 8. It just doesn't, you know?
Yeah.
Three Houses would be up there. I need to spend more time with it, but I'm loving everything about that game so far. So that might
I really
bump off
like that game.
That might bump off Smash, if anything. But like no, Mario Kart 8 and Deluxe and Odyssey have to be there for me.
Yeah.
It's really a shame that the Pokemon games on Switch were so weak because I would have loved them. But I found Sword and Shield very weak Pokemon games, and Scarlet and Violet I find very extremely weak. I loved Sun and Moon. I think they were maybe my second favorite generation of Pokemon. Sun and Moon were phenomenal. Come on, big dog. Generation 2. I mean, hey.
Oh, okay.
The best.
Come on.
The best one.
Yeah, it's easy. And then
Could
X
you
and
go
Y is
back
probably
right now and play Crystal? Or would you
Could I?
play, on the Game Boy
Yeah.
Color?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would.
I just played
I
Final
would,
Fantasy 6.
Yeah, I have it on my 3DS. I'd play that game. I might play that game tomorrow. That game fucking rocks. Yeah.
Yeah. I've got that version
Virtual's
too.
phenomenal.
I need to.
okay. I would probably play Heart Gold, right? I mean,
Right.
I would have a problem playing Crystal, but there's Heart Gold that exists, so.
Yeah.
Let's Go Eevee was my first Pokemon game I beat.
Well, bam.
Nice.
There you
Heart
go.
gold.
Yep.
That
That's
is
what
worth
I
a
had.
lot of money.
Yeah. Do you have the Pokewalker?
I do actually. Yeah.
Nice. Nice.
Caitlin has a Pokewalker. She's bought 2 Pikachu. You saw him, Austin,
Mhm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
A million walks she's got to take this stupid thing on and become best friends with it. A million. She's never gonna do that. It's crazy. But there's also there's a gambling mini game that you can play, and I'm like, well, you should do that. Probably get them out faster. And she doesn't want to play it because she doesn't want to lose it. So, platinum.
See that right there. That's the one. That's the one. As for me,
Oh no, it's empty.
there's nothing in it. A box only.
The case is probably still worth $40. I mean,
Right. No, my cart's in my game, not my Game Boy Advance, but my 2DS.
Can I break up the conversation and be honest with you guys for a second and be really sad?
Yes.
Let's do it.
Adults have ruined Pokemon for me.
Oh,
in
hell
every
yes,
way.
bro.
I loved collecting the Pokemon cards, and it is such a bloodbath out there right now that I genuinely just want to buy a pack of Pokemon cards and fucking open them, and you can't do it. I'm not scalping them. I want like, once in a while when I go to Walmart, maybe grab a pack of Pokemon cards. I am 4 cards short of the 151 complete collection. That hurts me in a deep part of my soul. And also, just make more, Nintendo. Come on.
Yeah.
How about you guys just keep printing the current Pokemon card set until the scalpers go bankrupt because it's so readily available? It's an easy problem to solve. There.
And
Can
my
I-
thing about
I
that
just
is
wanted to get it out
because
of my chest.
the last 48 hours, I've seen so many videos of these fucking scalpers, bro. Like, it
They're
is
fighting outside Costco.
Oh my God, man. Yeah. And so grown men too, like grown fucking loser men.
Mhm.
But remember during COVID when fucking everybody bought up all the toilet paper and shit,
Never
all the
forget.
paper towel? Same
Yeah.
thing, but worse, man.
That
And
paid
the
for
thing
Seth's,
is-
that paid for Seth's house. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
These are for kids, bro. Like, this shit's for kids. And that one, I would start shit with someone. If I was in the store and I saw that, I'd fucking probably
Yeah.
take some shit and give it to a kid.
I saw a video yesterday of a guy that pulled his cart up and literally was pushing every set and pack into his cart at the opening of Walmart for the new Pokemon set. There's like 20 people behind him. and someone reached in and grabbed one out of his cart. He didn't even see it. He had like $4,000 worth of Pokemon cards in his cart.
No, it's
That's
ridiculous.
Come on.
I'm with you. I am so close to completing all of 151. I am so thankful that I bought the shit that I did. Like I bought like the Zapdos promo set. I got like the Snorlax, like the booster box. I bought I think 2 of those booster boxes, and I got like the Mew binder shit. I am so close. I need like 8 additional like art cards, like the bonus cards from like the end of the set, and I'm missing like a fucking Vulpix or something, like some random common that I just never pulled despite opening 25 packs. But man, 25 packs was like all I was able to open, and I don't get it because like Magic the Gathering has booster boxes of 36 packs. And Nintendo decided for this set to not release booster boxes. And it's just like, are you fucking kidding me, man? Like, you didn't think this was going to be big? Unbelievable. And like, I'm constantly looking at TCG Player and I'm like, hey, you should just buy like that missing Squirtle full art that you don't have because it's only going to get more expensive. And I just can't like bring myself to do it. Like, I need that Charizard, right? Like the beautiful mystical flying one. And like, when I was looking, I'm like, oh, it's kind of expensive. It's like $90. Now it's like 250. And I'm like, fuck. Like, I'm just boned. I'm just never going to get that card.
Yeah. For my favorite Switch games, I mean, gosh, I could go really anywhere, but just to kind of be different, I'll say Breath of the Wild, Animal Crossing, which was just like a whole experience. I honestly didn't play as much of that game as I thought I would. I played about 120 hours. What?
You went out for a little bit, but you're back.
Oh, I played about 120 hours of Animal Crossing. But God, Andie played like 600 hours of that game. She played so much. And then this one, like, I tend to forget about, but then I think about how much I loved it. Metroid Dread. Dude, that game was something special for me. I don't know what it was, but I just adored that game. Like in every way. It was, I could not put that game down. I've really been wanting to go back and play it again. So
they put a update for it. I forgot what was in the update, but they have updated.
It's like a super hard difficulty, if I remember right. Yeah. So,
so let me ask you this, Mr. Austin: if there's one Animal Crossing game that you go back and put like 100+ hours into, which one would it be?
I mean, probably the new one. I think New Horizons, but I will say I think my favorite is actually New Leaf, which was the 3DS one. And as much as I love New Horizons, I think I'm not as big on like the designing stuff, like designing your island and like doing the terraforming and like building the rivers where you want them to be and stuff. And none of that was in New Leaf. So to me, it was like simplified enough for me. And I didn't really need all the additional like customization stuff. So I could go either way, but probably the new one would be the best one. So
well, when the first one comes out on the GCN, the GameCube, Nintendo Switch Online, are you gonna play it?
Oh yeah, dude, I love that first game. It's really good. I actually played it a little bit right before New Horizons came out. I bought the GameCube copy, and I played like a good bit of it. It's great. The thing I love about the older ones is they're so limited content-wise that you can easily just play like 30 minutes a day and be like fine with that. Like, yeah, there's enough there where you don't feel like you have to keep playing for like hours every day, which is kind of what New Horizons became, which is fine, but I kind of like that more simplified experience. So, games you still need to play. I wanted to bring this up too, because again, we've talked about the size of this library. Seth, is there anything you still want to play from Switch that you never got around to?
No.
Coach, is there anything you still want to play from the Switch that you never got around to?
Yeah, probably Three Houses. Definitely Three Houses.
Yeah. That's on my list too. George.
I unfortunately have a ton just because like I'm predominantly like a PlayStation gamer these days. I've never played a Pikmin game, man. Like I think I played maybe 20 minutes of 2 on like a friend's Wii. That was one that had like the play controls, like the Wii motion controls added, I think. I would love to play because all 4 of them are available on Switch, right?
They are.
I would love to go through that. I only played like 5 hours of Marvel Ultimate Alliance. I like got so burnt out on that game. I didn't think it was very good, but I'm also like, did you really give it a fair shot? And the fact that like there's been no more Marvel Ultimate Alliance content, I'm like, maybe this is it. Maybe this is the last one we're gonna get, and you should fucking eat your vegetables and learn to enjoy it. Fuck, I never played the Mario Rabbids games. I feel like I'm missing out on that. Luigi's Mansion 3, that's the big one.
Yeah. I never played that either.
It's a good, fun game. Not hard, not difficult, but just good, you know?
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's super good looking for a Nintendo game, right?
Yeah. My list is pretty similar to yours, George. I've got a few similar games. Pikmin 4 I put as the main one, but I never played 1 and 2 either, and I have the physical of all of them. I played in 1 of 3, but that's the only Pikmin game I've ever played. So 1, 2, 4, I need to play Xenoblade. Darth Biscuit 116 in the chat just said this too. He said he'd like to play any of the Xenoblade games. I played a lot of 2 when it came out on Switch. I probably got 50 or 60 hours in and just got sidetracked with something else, never beat it. But I really just want to go through, play start to finish 1 through 3 and X, and get through that series. Fire Emblem 3 Houses, another one that like I played a little bit of, maybe 10 or 15 hours, but not enough to really get a solid opinion on. Need to go back to that. And then Luigi's Mansion 3 would be my last one. So a lot of games, man. A lot of games. So
I mean, one thing that is really exciting though is like these games aren't like I have like a huge physical collection, and so like okay, like Switch 2, like I'm just gonna play them there.
Yeah.
In theory, they'll
Yeah.
perform better. So like I'm glad that it's not like PlayStation 3 to PlayStation or PlayStation 2 to PlayStation 3. Like these games are gonna work.
Mhm.
So I'm excited, and hopefully just like having new hardware and like I'll feel guilty enough to actually play these games.
Yeah.
It would be great.
Well, dude, it's like even if they don't run better too, just having that larger screen, the bigger Joy-Cons, like there's something about having that too, where I'll probably be more likely to go back to some older games just because like the screen is there's more real estate there. So, and certainly we'll get the upgrades. Like I didn't put it on my list because I knew it's getting an upgrade and I'll be playing it soon. But Echoes of Wisdom was one I didn't even touch. I have it. I didn't even touch it. So I'm looking forward to playing that on Switch too.
Oh, Advance Wars. Sorry.
Yeah. I forgot about that. I don't have that one. That's one that I never grabbed.
What was the reason it was delayed? Was it Ukraine and Russia war?
Yeah.
The start of it? Was that the reason why it was delayed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That was a crazy time.
Yeah.
Biggest surprises. I don't know if anybody, if people have things they want to add in here, but it doesn't necessarily have to be a game, but it could be like something with the hardware that surprised you, or it could be a game. Anybody have anything they want to put for that one?
Just worked as advertised. Like you could slide it into the dock and it would immediately pop up on your TV. Like it felt like it felt magical doing that, right? Like it felt like because AirPlay had been around for years, but like it felt like it actually worked and worked the way you wanted it to.
Yeah.
That was mine.
I guess I was surprised that even though they didn't look the best, but like AAA games like The Witcher 3, Doom Eternal, they all ran on the Switch. You know? Now, of course, it's not the game to play. I mean, there's other systems to play that on that's going to look a lot better. But if that was your only system, and you could play Doom and Doom Eternal.
Yeah.
And what's the other one by Machine Games?
Wolfenstein.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is pretty impressive those games were on there.
But that's a developer thing, though. So
it is. And then you've got Pokemon Scarlet and Violet on the same system. So,
and I'm surprised that Star Wars Rogue Squadron has not made it on the Switch.
If you keep saying it enough, it'll happen. It'll happen.
I guess so.
I literally wrote Nintendo in like 2011 2010 maybe, asking them like, what's the fucking deal, man? Like, when is this game coming to virtual console? And to their credit, like a real person wrote me back. It's just like, dude, I totally get where you're coming from. I love that game. Please keep your eyes peeled for any announcements coming. It's like, bitch, it's been 14 years. When's it gonna be my time?
Seth, did you have anything for that one? Anything that surprised you or that you liked about the Switch in particular?
I would say that I was surprised at how good the Pro Controller is. The Pro Controller is a really phenomenal.
That's a good answer.
Controller that I love. I'm actually using it to play Fantasy Life right now.
Yeah,
I'm having a good time with it.
It's really a great controller. I love that thing, man. I had one that did eventually go bad on me because I used it so much, and then now I've got my Monster Hunter Rise Magnum Allo one that I bought when that game came out, and I've just been using that for years. But I did get the Pro Controller for Switch 2 because it's got those back paddles on it, and I really like that. So, and I figured, look, like it's the only controller I'm ever going to be using on the thing, so I figured I might as well spend the money.
The battery life on the Pro Controller is like insane. I don't know what it's made out of. Maybe the souls of the departed. I don't know. It's really, really phenomenal.
Yeah. I like that. That's a good answer. I agree with George. I was going to say the docking and how like easy it is to be playing something and instantly switch over. And what's really made me appreciate that more recently is this freaking thing, the Steam Deck. The docking is horrendous on this thing.
Yeah, it is.
If you're playing a game, like I've of course been playing Persona, as I mentioned earlier, and you try to dock it, you got to go in and change the resolution in the game and change the settings to make sure it still runs well at that resolution. And then like there's frame rate issues depending on the settings of the game. You got to change all this. It's just nonsense. So the fact that you can just plug in the Switch to your dock and it just worked is so nice. So they did a really good job with that.
You almost have to like start your gameplay session in docked because it's just not worth it just to like move it back and forth. Yeah, I agree with you there. It
sucks. Biggest disappointments. George, was there anything? Oh, well, go ahead, Coach. You're firing away over here. What is your biggest disappointment?
So my biggest disappointment was Donkey Kong Country Returns. How that is a full-priced game, $60, right? And nothing was added to it. Not like at least with Tropical Freeze, you got Cranky Kong, right? No, it wasn't Cranky Kong. It was
Funky Kong.
Yeah. So you got him, right? And he made it a little bit easier to play, right? So at least they added another character to it, and for Tropical Freeze. But was it $60?
I think so.
It was $60, and remember, it didn't go on sale for like 10 years after, right? Some shit like that. But anyways, the remaster of Donkey Kong Country Returns, horrible price with very little like upgrade. That's my biggest disappointment.
Yeah. And graphically it had issues, right? Like I know the resolution was higher, but I know there were things that were like graphically present in the original game that either they removed on purpose or when they made the upgrade got removed, like some lighting problems and like stuff with the clouds and things like that got all messed up. So,
well, wasn't the remaster of the 3DS version though?
Might have been.
Because it had the extra level or something like that. I don't know. Yeah, it was just like, I'm like, really, Nintendo? Is this what we're doing now? Like Pikmin 1 and 2 was $40. Metroid Prime
was
Remastered,
40.
Yeah. So, and then all of a sudden now it's 60. So
yeah. George,
Joy-Con drift, right? Like that was, and that is. It's super disappointing because like they announced that they're not doing the Hall Effect joysticks for Switch 2, and it's just like, hey, this is actually like really, I guess like the only stumble they really had hardware wise with Switch 1. So you thought they would have like tried to get out ahead of it and like maybe try to justify that higher price tag, but they just didn't. It's like probably that. I think they did a pretty good job with third parties, like especially for what is respectfully like an underpowered device. Like
Yeah.
they had a bunch of like weird shit show up there, which was cool. I will say I'm blaming them. I don't think it's entirely their fault. They kind of ruined digital stores for me, where it's like, oh, cool, like let's see what's on sale in the Nintendo eShop, and there's fucking 1,200 things on sale, and it's like I'm not looking at that. Like
and 900 of them look like they were made by a middle schooler.
Yeah, and like it's like, oh, this game's 50 cents. I'm like, bitch, that's not worth 10 cents. Like, I'm not paying that. And so it's just like they really kind of fucked up like the Nintendo seal of quality record that they had for so long. I mean, like obviously the Wii was like the beginning of that, but like you could just ignore the shitty looking games at the store. In fact, the store did a really good like physical stores. They did a really good job of putting all those bulk items into like a bin for you to sift through if you were bored enough. But like the quality shit always like made the wall at any store, and like it just I know it's not their fault, but I'm going to blame Nintendo for that, for just the floodgates on trash.
Dude, I totally agree with you. That eShop is horrendous. Like everyone's always complaining about the PlayStation and the Steam stores and all that crap that's on them. But man, the Switch eShop is like the worst of the worst. So as for no, I guess Seth, you didn't go yet, right? What was your anything you found disappointing? Lack of games, Xenoblade 3, Breath of the Wild.
Xenoblade 3 was a miserable experience. I will say, I believe we talked about it a little bit earlier. My biggest disappointment has to be the absolute fumbling of the Pokemon generations on the Switch. Just, you know, if it wasn't such a household name, they would have done irreparable damage to the Pokemon series. And it's just like now we're in a situation where like we don't really know what to expect with the next generation. You know, there was a point in time before the Switch where you knew what you were getting, you knew the kind of quality you were getting when a Pokemon generation came out, right?
Yep.
And then Sword and Shield came out, and I think it's really the first generation that came out where it's like, this kind of isn't great, guys. You know, like they did the whole Dexit thing, and they never recovered from that, right? Like they never changed their mind on that, even though they added more Pokemon over and over again. And then and then Scarlet and Violet was just such a train wreck. And granted, I liked the time I spent with the game, I really did, and I thought the new monsters they added were really cool. But I mean, you guys got to get it together, especially when there's other companies out here that are just embarrassing you. That's really my biggest disappointment.
Yeah. That's a good answer too, though, because this whole generation's just really been fumbled. I mean, Let's Go, those games were pretty good. They weren't really for me personally.
Their remakes are the best games, which is like not great. Right?
Yeah. Shining Diamond and Brilliant Pearl. They're good.
And people didn't like those either. I mean, like people had a real issue with those games.
Yeah. But the thing is, they're like 1-to-1, and I don't think that was very smart. But I know, like, the actual like way the games are made, like visually and the way they perform and stuff is good, at least. And then Arceus was like the other one, even though it looks horrible, like it's a pretty good game. But the main lines, they just completely botched. So,
and also, dude, like X and Y are like probably my third favorite generation Pokemon games. I think ZA looks really not fun. There is nothing appealing to me about Z. Like that is the first time I've ever seen a Pokemon game and been like, I don't think I want this. I mean, like I would, even when I wasn't playing generations like 4 and 5, really, right? I would still be like, oh, you know, that would probably be a fun thing to do someday. I look at ZA and I'm like, that doesn't look good. That doesn't look fun. So I don't know where I'm at with Pokemon now.
I've got some mild interest in ZA, but I do kind of agree with you. Like after Scarlet and Violet, I was hoping for something like a huge step up, especially because there's been such a long development time between these two games, but it does not look as significant as I was hoping for.
Yeah.
So
maybe the developers are inept to developing anything that doesn't have a DS in the name of the console, right?
I've been saying
Yeah.
that for years. I think Game Freak does not have the chops to make the Pokemon game that everyone wants. They don't. They should be contracting a lot more out. I think
But Let's Go looked so good,
that
and
wasn't
it
made by Game
ran
Freak.
so well. Oh, it wasn't.
No.
Oh snap! That's why. That's the one that looks the best out of all the games.
And guess
Yeah,
what?
that was like
Diamond and Pearl, we're not Game Freak either.
The thing is, though, Diamond and Pearl or Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, they needed a big day one patch.
Yeah.
If you didn't have that day one patch, it was rough. But
Yeah.
so I mean, that's a good take, Seth. I like that take.
So for me, I'm still I think NSO has actually gotten pretty good now, especially with the expansion pass, but I still think that a lack of virtual console proper, like in 2025, to not be able to buy Super Mario Brothers 3 for $10 or whatever you want to charge for it. I don't know, but to not be able to buy these games and just own them is really frustrating. The thing I like about Sony's offering right now with their similar service with the PlayStation Plus, like Extra or whatever it's called, they're releasing these classic PSP and PS1 games, and you can buy them still. You don't have to have, for the most part, there are a few exceptions, but you don't have to have the service for these games. You can just buy them without the service. And I wish that they would do that with NSO. So I would say that. And then just to be spicy, Tears of the Kingdom. I've said this so many times on the podcast before, but like that game just did not click with me at all. It was not what I was expecting in a bad way. So I'm looking forward to going back to it on Switch 2 and just kind of giving it another shot, but this will be time number 3 for me, and if I have a feeling nothing's going to change, but I'm going to try it anyway. So
I have an honorable mention. The fucking drip feed of games on the NSO.
yeah, it has been slow.
Oh my gosh. And they do it on the their mobile app, their music store too.
Yeah.
It's like, what the hell? Just drop all the music. Like, what are we doing here? You know, it just frustrates the fans. Like, there's still whatchamacallit, N64 games that they could drop for us. So I don't know why they like the drip feed, and it's going to continue on the Switch 2 with the GameCube NSO.
Yeah.
Right, the GameCube service. It's going to be a drip feed. Like maybe 3 months we'll get a game. You know, I don't. That pisses me off more than anything. The drip feed.
Well, and the thing is, it's like not even just the drip feed. I was trying to find a list of the games in release order, like when they've dropped on NSO, but there's so many times where they'll drop like, oh yeah, you're getting Pokemon Stadium, and then you're getting, this is not a game on NSO, but just for comparison, and then you're also getting Glover. It's like, well, that's not really helping me much here. I'd really rather have these games that are of consequence.
Yeah.
They tend to really, like the games they drip feed, you'll have one good game and then 5 other games that no one's ever heard of or are bad games in general. So yeah, I agree. It really has not been a good drop. But I want to end on a good note here though, because I think we were going to do favorite things about the hardware, but I think we kind of fit that in with most surprising. Is there anything else you guys want to add on that note? Things we liked about the hardware? Okay, no. So let's end on something else then, which is hidden gems on the console. You know, we talked about favorite games earlier. What are some games that, you know, maybe didn't get kind of the mainline love that you would recommend for people just now coming into Switch 1 or looking to play some Switch 1 games as we look ahead to Switch 2? George, what are some hidden gems on the Switch?
I think it's quietly maybe the best place to play Bayonetta. Like that entire series. I'm not even like a huge action gamer person, but I just remember that game coming out on PS3 completely busted, playing pretty well on 360, and the fact that like Nintendo just outright stole this game series is pretty amazing. Also, this is gonna sound fake. I swear I mean it sincerely. the Kirby games and the Princess Peach Showtime game. I've got like a 5-year-old niece. She's going to be 6 in a few weeks, and she loves hanging out and playing video games. And like Kirby Star Allies in particular is a perfect Kirby game for someone who doesn't play video games very often. And Princess Peach Showtime is fucking awesome. So like this is like a really good. And I know not all kids need games like this to get into games. I know this isn't how we got into games, but it's really cool that Nintendo really gives a shit about onboarding young children to games, and they did a great job with the Kirby games and fantastic job with Princess Peach.
Yeah, I need to play Princess Peach still. I need to grab it just to have. So
it's cute. Like it's not challenging. It is fun. The coolest part about it is that like how varied it is. Like you'll go from like a Robin Hood type level where like you're beating the fuck out of people to like a cake decorating level. You know, like there's so much variety in the game, which is great. Like you never get bored, and like it feels manic and crazy like a kid does. So like they really nailed it.
Seth, anything that you can think of that were like smaller games or lesser known games that you enjoyed on Switch?
Nope.
Coach.
Xenoblade 2.
So at the beginning, remember one of the first games that was available was Blaster Master.
Yep.
Right?
Blaster Master Zero, right?
Yeah, Zero, and then 0, 1, and 0, 2. Or 0, 1, 2, and 3, right? So for those that need that, back then that needed that old school itch, because we weren't getting like old school games on there, but we were getting new games that had that old school feel. That's a series that that has that. So I think that's a hidden gem for those that are looking for that Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis fix.
Yeah, that's a good answer. Those games are really good. I always wanted to play Azure Striker Gunvolt, which is like somehow connected. And it's kind of like a Mega Man X looking game.
Yes.
So,
yeah, I believe there's 3 of them, but yeah. And they started on the 3DS as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was that Way Forward? Or am I mistaken? Maybe it's not.
No,
I don't remember.
think it was.
Okay.
It's a good.
Darth Biscuit in the chat said Mega Man X, ZX Battle Network games are perfect for Switch players, and then he said No More Heroes also needs some more love. I kind of forgot they released those games on Switch, to be honest with you.
Yeah, add that to my list of games I still need to play. Is the No More Hero games.
I've never played any of those.
1 and 2 were Wii games, and the third one's really not great. I love No More Heroes. It's a great game.
Yeah. Gosh, there's so many I could go through. I mean, not really hidden gems, but the Switch is the perfect place to play Ace Attorney. Every single Ace Attorney game is now on Switch. So you can play the original trilogy, you can play the sequel trilogy, you can play the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, which were 2 spin-off games that were based in like 1800s Japan. And then they've just finally released the Miles Edgeworth games, which one of them was only in Japan until last year. And that game came out like 15 years ago in Japan. So Ace Attorney, just as a whole, Switch is the perfect place to play those games. Gosh, I like the Mighty Gunvolt, or Blaster Master rather, pick, Coach. Fast Racing, Fast RMX. That was a launch title, and there's a new one coming out at launch on Switch 2, Fast Fusion. But I would still recommend Fast RMX if you're not grabbing a Switch 2 or if you haven't played it. That game is really, really good.
Or even if you are grabbing a Switch 2.
Yeah. Yeah. And it still holds up. I just played some recently within the past couple of weeks. It's still gorgeous. So that's a great game. I'm trying to think what else I would put on the list. There's just so many to choose from. I would also say Golf Story. Golf Story came out early on. And the Switch.
Golf Story is great. Yeah, that's a great call.
Yeah, similar to the Mario Golf on GBA, kind of like an RPG game, but based around golf. Loved it. And then I'll give a shout out, because this game never really gets much love, to Clubhouse Games, which was a Nintendo developed game, which it's literally just like 52, I think it is 52 board games and other like similar games that they've converted to digital form that you can play on Switch. And Andy and I played a lot of it together. It's one of the games on Switch 2 where they're releasing like download play. So you can like share the game to somebody else and play it simultaneously with one person on a Switch 2 and the other on a different system. So just like a good game if you want to play like chess or learn how to play Hanafuda or anything like that. So I love that game. But yeah, that's all the stuff I kind of wanted to run through, guys. Anything else you want to add on about Switch 1 just as a whole? I think, again, to go back to it for me, like it's probably my favorite Nintendo system. I mean, library-wise, I can't think of anything better. There's just so much to play and so much I still want to play.
Now's the time to collect. For those collectors, now's the time to do it. Yeah. On Amazon, on Woo, 20-25% off, 30% off sometimes. Yeah. You just got to be patient and look for them deals.
Yeah, Woot is become like one of my favorite places to get games from. I like really quick. I only got Mario Kart World Tour, and like I'm gonna get Donkey Kong Bonanza. That might be the last Nintendo Switch 2 game I get this year. Is Donkey Kong. So I'm really excited to just like play Switch games. Like I played probably 10 hours of Breath of the Wild. I got through the first Beast. Is that what they're called? The
Divine Beast.
The Divine Beast. Yeah.
The Divine. Okay, I got through one of them. And I was like, fuck, this is really cool. And then everything else I just like found really frustrating about that game. Austin and I were talking before we recorded. I don't really like unstructured video games. So like that's kind of my nightmare. But like when you got to like an actual the Zora, is that who it was? That chick. I was like, oh, this game is great. Like this is a phenomenal game. So
Mifa.
Okay, yeah. And so I'm excited to revisit that and play it on the better piece of hardware. I'm excited to like have a new Pokemon game, Scarlet and Violet. I'm just gonna treat it like a new game with its performance boost and just like, okay, hopefully now it's good. But like I just got that. I got a GameCube controller, and this is just gonna be summer of Nintendo. I'm very excited.
Gotta play F-Zero GX together.
That's like honestly, like I'm gonna play Mario Kart. I'm like, let me just see how the GameCube games work, and then I know I'm gonna play GX all fucking night.
Yeah. But remember, that is a hard as balls game.
I do remember. I'm excited for it though. That rough... and just fucking Soul Calibur 2. I'm just like, I need to call like my high school friends who are still around here. I'm like, do you want to run 2005 back? Like, do you want to just run it back? Because we have the power to do that now.
Steph, where do you think stand with you with Switch 2? This is my last question. Are you planning on getting one eventually, or is it kind of one where you're just like no interest in whatsoever?
Well, I was really hyped for the Switch 2. I was all in, and then the Direct kind of just bored me to death. Could Nintendo add a little bit of flair to the Directs? I mean, they're just so boring. You gotta hype me up a little bit, Make me laugh, do something instead of just being like, join Samus as she walks around with their gun in Metroid Prime 18. That's like, come on.
Why does it sound like Kermit?
And that's kind of how they sound. That's kind of how they sound, dude. Anyway, yeah, probably eventually. I mean, if the new Pokemon game it gets really good reviews, and people really do genuinely enjoy it, I'll probably get one for that. Other than that, I'll probably get one for the next Xenoblade game. Or wherever it is. I told you guys this the other day. I really do feel like I'm taking crazy pills where people are like fluffing the shit out of this thing for playing Cyberpunk. I'm like, the Cyberpunk came out 5 years ago. I don't. What? Who cares? I don't get it.
Sure. And it plays on. It's like on this.
Unreal to me that like Star Wars Outlaws is coming out in September. I'm like, what the fuck did you have to do? Like, you could have been like the only that and Cyberpunk. Yeah, you could have been like the only open world games, like newish to like Nintendo audiences.
Yeah, and
like you're coming in fucking September. Are you stupid?
They have other priorities right now, I guess. I mean, who knows? Star Wars Outlaws was such an afterthought, so I don't know.
I think really when it comes, excited for Switch 2 the closer we've gotten. I think really what my strategy is just going to be, though, is like first party or games that run considerably better on Switch 2. I'll get there, but for the most part, I'm still going to stick to Steam Deck and PC because being able to buy one copy and just like go from Steam Deck to the ultra high quality version on my computer is just not a comparable experience to Switch. So, but there's enough first party for me.
Yep.
I'm not a Mario Kart fan. In fact, I despise it. So there was nothing there for me.
Yeah.
We get
That's why you were never my friend.
That's right.
Because my name was Mario Kart.
Wii 140.
Wii
140.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was actually just a big fan of number 140.
I think he was despised you because you spelled cart wrong. Or wasn't that the issue?
Oh, maybe
Wasn't
I'm
that
okay.
your PSN name forever too?
Oh yeah, that was my PSN name that I made like in 2008 or whatever.
That's what I thought.
I kept it that until a few years ago.
Oh shit! Good times, man.
All right, guys. Darth Biscuit said in the chat that he asked, "Will we guys do a play with the viewers on F-Zero?" And absolutely, I would do it. I would show myself getting obliterated on F-Zero with you guys. So
before we end, did you guys see the thing that I posted in the Discord chat?
Yes.
To correct myself, that was not gameplay. That was a tech demo disguised as gameplay.
For Witcher 4.
Dude, CD Projekt, I'm about to fly over there and smack the shit out of them. I can't take it anymore. Why would you do that?
That was like that Halo bullshit that they released not too long ago.
That was clearly intended to be viewed as gameplay. They said it was running on the PS5, 60 frames per second. And then when that was that news broke, and then they then went back and were like, "No, this is Unreal 5 tech demo." Who cares, dude? Why would you even show that? Get out of here. Go make something. Get lost, CD Projekt. Sick of it, dude. They're cyberpunk nonsense. I'm done.
You fucking tell him, Seth.
Good job. Good job. That looks like a great game, though. That gameplay was excellent. So on that note, we'll wrap it up there.
The city.
All right, guys. Well, we'll be back at some point next episode. Switch 2 will have release. So I know at a bare minimum,
be in the mail.
Yeah, at a bare minimum, George and I will have comments. Hopefully, Coach will have comments soon enough if I can mail it to him promptly.
I've been updating my Best Buy page. Like, it hasn't fucking shipped yet, and like the new GameCube controller shipped from Nintendo, and I'm like, where's my fucking Nintendo Best Buy?
Leave comments down below what you think Coach's room looks like that he's blurred out.
I think it looks like no, I'm not going to say it. A prison cell.
Prison cell.
It does kind of look like that.
I mean,
Coach, live
not
from
far
prison.
from Alcatraz, you know. We do have sharks in the waters over here.
It looks like a college. It looks like a college dorm that you like haven't moved into yet, or like you just moved out of from the blur.
Well, the cool stuff
Always
is against over
cracks
here.
me up. Always cracks me up when I see the background blurred. I love it.
I'm hiding nothing.
I know. That's the funny part.
Cuba, baby.
Bullfrog said, Coach lives in a room with a blank brick wall. And then Darth Biscuit said, boring bed and no nightlight.
I keep the kitchen light on downstairs.
That's pretty accurate.
His Switch is backlit, man. He doesn't need a nightlight. Yeah.
You got that thing on him. It's packing.
So, okay, I've got to say this before we wrap. So I was George, you were talking about your shipping. I just looked at my UPS, like my choice thing that shows all the packages you're receiving. It now shows I'm receiving 3 packages from Nintendo, which I can't even possibly imagine what that would be.
It's switching the 2 Joy-Cons.
You might be right.
Individual box.
So we'll find out. But on that note, happy Switch 2 launch, everybody. We'll be back soon enough. And thank you all.
Listen to Shortbox Summary. We're back, baby.
Do that. Exactly that. So thank you all.
Thanks for people in the chat.
Yes, as always. So we'll be back soon enough, and enjoy Switch 2.
Thank you, Darth
Deuces.
Biscuit.
douches.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Frameskip. Don't forget you can find the show on social media at frameskippod. That's on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can also follow us each individually on Twitter. George is at Shortbox Summary, Seth is at Seth the 90s Kid, and I, Austin Eller, am at Austin J. Eller on Twitter. If you've got a question, comment, or topic you'd like to hear discussed on the next episode of Frameskip, you can do so by submitting it to us on social media. Email us at frameskippodcast@gmail.com or visit bit.ly/frameskipq. That's bit.ly/frameskipq. The show is typically live on YouTube every week, either on Tuesday or Wednesday. You can find our YouTube channel at bit.ly/frameskiplive. Don't forget to subscribe and be notified when we do go live, typically at about 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Thanks for listening. We'll catch you next time.